Ladies, gentlemen, folks beyond the binary, grab your husband, wife, partner, mistress, your wife's boyfriend, that mysterious stranger you effed that one time, and gather around your radios. It's time for this week's meeting of the Erotic Thriller Club.
Not rude or crude, he's always tastefully nude. In this hardcore world, he's a softcore dude. His antithesis, mysterious and dangerous. And oh yes, they've got all the sexiest movies out on VHS. So if you're fatally attracted to the racier stuff, Erotic Film Club basically instinctively crave the salacious. Erotic Film Club. If you want a racy movie and you're too classy for smut, Erotic Film Club. We can watch them and discuss them all ad nauseam. Erotic Film Club.
Our wife and daughter are out of town, and we're a little horny. So let's get sexy and make some bad decisions in the meat and fire district of New York City. Will we come? Oh, God, yes. Will it ruin our lives in unimaginable ways? Most certainly. This week on the Erotic Thriller Club, Fatal Attraction. Hey, everybody, welcome to this week's episode of the Erotic Thriller Club. We are your hosts. I am Garrett Callender.
And I'm Kit Ryan. Oh, I didn't. The fucking meat and fire district. You got me, Garrett. On that one.
I've been to New York a handful of times at this point. I won't say I know New York well, but no one has ever taken me through the meat and fire district where Glenn Close lives in this movie.
It's possible that it only existed in the 80s, New York's changed a lot. The meat and fire district was well known back then, but Giuliani took care of that.
Thanks 9/11. Two things I have to do now. No meat and fire district, and I have to take my goddamn shoes off at the airport.
So sad.
So last week, if you listened, we did Zandali. And, we opened with a big, dumb, bad movie early on. So we kind of thought we should fire back with a heavy hitter just to keep y'all on your toes. And honestly, in the realm of erotic thrillers, I don't know if there's a bigger one.
Maybe
And
Basic Instinct, maybe, but I feel like they're pretty, I don't know.
I'll be honest, I think with this one, we blew our load too soon.
Oh,
And we may have ruined our
no.
lives and podcast forever.
No.
I don't think you can get bigger than this one. This was the highest grossing movie worldwide of 1987. It was the second highest grossing movie in the United States in 1987, behind 3 Men and a Baby, a movie that 2 out of those 3 dudes were in erotic thrillers.
Wait, really? Which ones?
Goot and Ted Danson. Maybe Selleck. I don't have that knowledge off the top of my head.
What about the
yelling at
baby?
us like,
Did the baby grow up to be in an erotic thriller?
I didn't even look up that information. I'm curious to watch. I know on the Criterion Collection you can watch the Goot erotic thriller, which has me really intrigued because there was a time I showed up to some of our friends' apartment and everybody was screaming. There was pandemonium within the apartment when I opened the door, and everybody was screaming at me when I walked in the sentence, "Goot swinging a hammer." I'm like, what does that mean? It turns out they were watching the Disney film The Big Green, where the Goot is a soccer coach. And in a montage scene of training, he's jogging next to them in sweatpants. And my friends, the Goot is swinging a hammer. It might be a kid's movie, but there's nothing PG about what I saw bouncing around in that man's shorts.
That is not where I was expecting that to go.
And Ted Danson plays the best friend in Body Heat, which we'll get to both of these movies somewhere down the road.
I'm sure we will.
But this fucking movie was nominated for 6 Academy Awards.
6 Academy. Okay, so what best Actress, of course.
Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actress, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best Editing.
Wow.
Like, this is a big fucking movie,
We have
and
we have made a
this
terrible mistake.
we fucked up so bad putting this so early. Like, this could
Oh
have been a
god, what have we
milestone
done?
movie. We could have brought a guest on down the road to talk
Yep,
about
yep.
this major, horny movie
We have made a
that was
mistake almost
acclaimed.
as big as Michael Douglas made.
So this movie was made by Adrian Lyne. He is kind of a sexy movie savant of the 80s. I mean, he made 9.5 Weeks, Flashdance,
Oh my
Indecent
god.
Proposal, Unfaithful, the movie that basically started this podcast. And then that motherfucker comes out of retirement during the hard times of the pandemic to make us the Ben Affleck, Anna de Armas cucking movie, Dark Waters.
I have not seen that yet, so I'm excited to put that on the list.
Oh, it's absolutely on the list. It is the fact that he's like, you know what? People are stuck inside. They're horny. Give it to them on Hulu. It was supposed to go to theaters. Actually, that was more of a Disney decision than it was his. But Adrian Lyne, I mean, this dude's dad was a professor at Oxford. And did he choose to go to Oxford? No, he
No,
chose
sir.
to titillate us through the 80s.
And thank God he did.
Let's get in to this fucking movie.
Oh my god, it's so much.
I think the most confusing thing off the bat was when it got to screenplay. It showed the writer and it said, okay, so it said screenplay by James Dearden based on an original screenplay by James Dearden. And I don't know if I've ever seen it presented to me in that matter.
No, wasn't it originally a short film? Is that what the case was that the adaptation
Yes.
was based on?
So it looked like it was based on a short film that was maybe made for television or something in England. And they brought it over here and gave us Michael Douglas's Tush. But
And
let's
it's a
open
good
this movie.
dish.
Set the scene, Kit. What's happening in this movie?
Well, let's see. We start with the happy family, of course. Just sitting around, getting ready to go to a party. And then it's a party at a Japanese restaurant to celebrate the release of a samurai self help book, and there is some delightful period piece Japanophobia going on around here. There's like comments about like hope you like sushi, as if everyone doesn't like sushi. And then they make fun of the author for bowing. I mean, it's a
He is
little
bowing a lot.
he's okay, but he's also at his own book release party.
He's bowing though with an intense vigor to it. Like there is like I think that it would be hard for anyone. Like I'm not excusing racism. But once again, there was a
Kind of
meat and
sounds like
fire
you
district.
are.
There was a meat and fire district. You could keep your shoes on in the TSA, and light racism was not
A,
frowned
a,
upon in
a
1987.
little sprinkling of light racism just to get you started. And let's see.
I will say, opening scene when we're with Happy Family, pretty
Mm,
erotic from the bat. Michael Douglas is like
good
is
looking.
risky business in it.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I mean, okay, you're a man. I don't wear a lot of button-up white shirts and underwear only combos. Like, is that a comfy way to sit around the house? I would have thought that like no shirt, but yes, pants would be more comfortable than a button-up shirt, no pants.
See, I think he was going not necessarily business casual, but like business sexual.
Business
Um,
sexual.
I I don't
Don't
think
wear
that
that
would
to
be
the actual
comfortable.
office.
No, no. I don't think it was comfortable, but I think that life is different for successful people. And I've not hit that
Mm,
level of success where I have to wear a button-up shirt anywhere. I don't even
mm.
own one right now that fits me, so I would have
Surely
to
you
make a
have
trip.
something. Like,
No,
what if I invited you to a wedding tomorrow or something? You wouldn't have anything?
nothing. I'd have to go make a special trip.
No, no.
I guess that shows, like, this guy doesn't have a lot of friends. He's not getting invited to wedding. Shut up. Leave me alone. Be nice. We're only on episode 2 and you're already criticizing me.
Just your
But
sartorial choices.
I will say, like, from the top, his wife, played by Ann Archer,
Gorgeous. Beautiful
uh,
woman.
I would say erotic from the top. Like, his wife is gorgeous.
Watching her, like, put on the makeup and everything, it's really cute. She's really pretty.
But yeah, let's get back to the racist party.
Oh, right, right. So we're at the racist party because he's a lawyer representing this book publisher. And so he's here for their book release party. And his fat friend makes eye contact with a woman and like does the whole like scans her up and down with his eyeballs and is like, "Oh, hi." And then cut to it's Glenn Close giving him the evilest glare. Like, it is a wild introduction to a character cuz you're expecting it to cut to hot bombshell sultry look and instead it is murder look straight up.
I had so many problems with this is gonna be I I'm gonna really
Mhm.
have to dance around the way I phrase things on this. I am not attracted to Glenn Close.
Mm.
And who am I to judge anyone's attractiveness? But I'm going to set the stage from the top anything I say about Glenn Close. I have an issue with when I see an actor, it's typically hard for me to separate them from the first thing I saw them as.
Okay, what is the first thing you saw Glenn Close as?
The first thing my brain goes to from my childhood, like maybe I saw her before and didn't register, but it probably had to have been the vice president of the United States in Air Force
Mm.
One.
You
Like,
didn't wanna have sex with the vice president on Air Force One?
she was too official, she was, like, a little stuffy, if
Mm.
I remember correctly, but also she was Cruella de Vil. I think she was the first lady in Mars Attacks. Like, I don't know, I think of her as, like, my mom or something,
Mm.
like, I
You
think
saying your
growing up,
mom
she
can't be
was
a sexual being, Garrett? Because that is offensive. Your mom clearly had to have sex at least enough times to produce, you and your sister, so
at least twice then.
at least twice.
I mean, that's fine,
I just don't wanna think about it.
but if I saw that, I would also rate it low on the erotic scale for me.
I mean, this movie's going to rate low on the erotic scale purely because, like, all the eroticism is in, like, the first 20-30 minutes, and then there is no more eroticism to be have. It is all scary all the way.
I don't know, like, watching this again, I will say the sex scenes, like, there we'll get to them. We'll get to them. We get to the first, like, fairly unremarkable meeting between Michael Douglas and Glenn
Yeah,
Close.
they chat at a bar afterwards, and she seems to be into the fact that he didn't rake her over with his eyes the first time he laid eyes on her, and so she finds that to be attractive. And then it gives a couple of really important lines where he says he wouldn't want that look directed at me. Lovely foreshadowing right there. And
Mhm.
also he says something that I think is pretty important to understanding why he gets to be with why he wants to hook up with Glenn Close. And he says, like, "Oh, Jimmy's okay. He's just a little insecure like the rest of us." And I think that's like the key to Michael Douglas's character in this thing is he doesn't have sex with her because she's like the most gorgeous woman he's ever laid eyes on. It is, we can both agree, probably like a lateral move at best. Like, it's not like his wife is so beautiful, that it's definitely not like a 20-year-old, walked up to him it's clearly not that she is something completely unattainable to him. I think it's that he's insecure and feels a little, unsexy these days because they've got like a 6-year-old who steals his spot in bed. And, his wife is like, undressing and telling him to go walk the dog, right? Like, it's nothing all that bad. His relationship and his marriage and his family is all solid and good, but he feels unsexy and insecure. And a woman showing interest in him is intriguing to him and makes him feel good,
And he just wants to come and feel youthful like the rest of us.
like the rest of us.
We've all been there. Not necessarily to this extent, but you want to feel young, and sex feels good.
Sex does, in fact, feel good. Uh,
So we get to this meeting where
yes.
you say maybe, honestly, maybe too erotic up top. Bob, his boss, or presumably his
Mm,
boss, hurt his neck banging his wife and is really
yeah.
embarrassed to talk about it. And it's weird that
Yeah.
everybody else is so comfortable talking about it.
And that they bring it up at work. That has got to be like workplace harassment, right? Like talking to your boss in front of everybody about the fact that he broke his neck boning, like, right? That's an appropriate workplace topic.
But after this meeting, which is where, like, Michael Douglas gets a little cream cheese on his nose eating a bagel,
Oh,
Glenn
yeah,
Close
you
thinks it's
think so?
cute. They go have a naughty little lunch together. Like a
Yes.
little flirtatious friend lunch.
Yes, where he lights her cigarette at the fucking table, which was made my list of weird 80s stuff that I kept a running tab on, along with the casual Japanophobia, was also that like they're just smoking inside all the time.
To be fair, I certainly remember smoking in Denny's in college.
Okay, I did not. Mostly because I didn't smoke, and I vaguely remember, like, being a kid and walking into a Steak and Shake and there being a smoking and non-smoking section, but, like, mostly it still just seems so outrageous. It looks so wrong to see it
So
on
you,
screen.
so you're telling me you never went to St. Louis, Missouri to see Slayer with Metal Dave, and then when the show was over, you go to a Denny's, smoke a cigarette, and eat a Moons Over my hammy to come down from the high of Rain and Blood.
I wish to God that I could say that I had done that exact thing, but no, I've never actually smoked, so hanging out with Metal Dave, sure,
Congratulations.
sure, but not smoking.
So after we have this
This
kind
cute
of
little
dangerous
dinner
lunch.
thing. Yeah, they ask the question, and I think it's an important question. Is having dinner with someone a crime? Garrett, speak on
um
this topic.
I think if you keep it a secret, you're doing something wrong. If it's something that you're like, "Hey, I'm gonna go grab lunch with my friend who is a lady," I think it is. I think you have to
Is that how
mention
you
that.
talk to people? Wait, like, is that what
Who
you
is a
tell your
woman,
wife? Is
human.
you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna grab lunch with one of my coworkers later," and so you text your wife and say, "I'm having lunch with my friend," parentheses, "who is a woman," end parentheses. Is that how that conversation usually goes? Oh, you're really having to think about it.
Well, I'm thinking about how I would phrase it. It's not like I've never. I guess I don't know. Like, if it's somebody she doesn't I don't know. You know what? I might not even mention it because it does seem like an unremarkable thing. Like, it
Right?
did seem like they were just going to lunch until it got flirtatious. And, like, you probably wouldn't mention, like, I had a flirty little lunch that was a little exciting for me. But
No,
the thing
you'd
is,
say
it
like,
didn't.
"Oh, I ran into at this meeting a woman that, we met at the party, and so we grabbed lunch after the meeting, and it was very nice."
Yeah, it cost $500 and I paid. I don't know that
Right?
it cost that much. It looked like they were at a nice place. Um, but the next part is where things go go
Weird.
south. Not really south. Like honestly, this is like the
North.
peak of
They go
goodness for him. This
very
is like,
north.
oh, we're at the top of fucking Everest for this one. They bang so good
And
that like
so quick, like it's just like, haha, you want to get out of here? Boom, they are fucking. Like there's no build up to the
standing.
affair whatsoever. They are fucking on a plate of or on a they are fucking on a sink full of dirty dishes. Hell yeah.
I thought that she did something that, like, I wouldn't have thought to do, but, like, if it happened in the moment, I would've been like, "That was fucking rad when she did that." Like, I would have thought back on that for the rest of my life as, like, a sexual memory I really enjoyed. When the lady turned the sink on behind her and started splashing a little water at me and wet the front of her shirt so I could see her nipples through the white button up. That was
Mhm, mhm.
exciting, you
It
know?
was.
It was innovative. It
She's
showed,
she's making
creativity.
new strides in the realm of sexual, innovation. She's a real disruptor in the field.
She didn't just start with mom and pop, like a good old mom and pop missionary. She sat
Mm-mm.
there, she wet her nipples, and I was like, from that moment, I was like, "I'm not super into Glenn Close,
But I get
but
it.
I might
I
wet
get it.
my nipples next time."
Good for you, man. Good for you. And then there's the bit where he's like, they're moving from the sink to the bed, and he trips over his own, like, fact that he had his pants around his ankles, and they both start laughing about it. And I thought that was delightful. Like, it was very realistic.
Yeah, it was a cute moment, like, it was a cute, lustful, like, cute, like, fun thing, and
Yeah.
I think we do need to, like, say this because it is throughout the movie. Douglas ain't afraid to show cheeks. That's important
Mm-mm.
to us.
They're really nice
And
cheeks too. And Glenn Close has boobs out. That is as far as it gets though. We don't see anything more from anybody, but it's
you see her butt.
tasteful. Okay, yeah,
You
that's
do.
true.
The way he throws her down on the bed, you can even see the tan lines on the
Mm,
cheeks. Like, it's an odd angle of a butt you don't normally see on screen too, where it's, like, dangerously close to taint and, like, if anything had gone wrong, maybe butthole.
but it was in fact tastefully done by a master at his craft in framing that shot.
That's why this movie got best editing because you didn't see that and it got to keep its R rating.
As opposed to Cats 2019 where they had to edit out the buttholes.
So after they're done banging, she's like, "Do you wanna go do something?" Which is it's crazy. They're the same age as me in this movie. They're 36,
Yeah.
and I do not have the energy to have sex, let alone have sex and then go dancing at the Meat and Fire District
Yeah, in
at the salsa bar.
The Latin nightclub in the Meat and Fire district. And then they
Which
fuck again in the elevator.
best sex scene of maybe all time. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go there.
You
Do I
who
think it
said
was
this
super
movie was
erotic?
not erotic enough for you are now saying that this is the best sex scene of all time.
It was like a fucking steel cage match of sex. They're in like this isn't an office building elevator. We are in an industrial metal cage that they have paused and they are bouncing off the walls and he fucking tears her shirt off her body and
Mhm.
sucks her nipples until milk
Mhm.
comes out.
I mean, I don't wait, what?
I don't know if that's true,
I
but
don't
he is like ferociously sucking those things.
Yes,
Like
and
it like
then
yeah.
they're trapped, right? They're not trapped, but like the elevator has stopped and it's like halfway up and you can see someone walking by that could
He's
see
getting a
them
beach.
there while he's getting a beach, and the look on his face is it's really good. It's very evocative. You can really put yourself in that position. Ha, get it.
And as they go into her apartment, like the look about them, the glow that's coming off of them, as if they have both just blown the most intense loads of their
Yes,
lifetime. Like,
absolutely.
do you remember how good Nick Cage was at fingering in
Yes,
Zandali?
absolutely, of course.
Michael Douglas is equally good at nipple sucking.
What a gift. What a gift.
Sorry, so going so deep into the blue on this one, but that's what we're here to talk about.
This is true. This is what we're here for. It is they are erotic thrillers, not, psychological thrillers or
So, he sneaks out of
sports
the house.
thrillers.
He ge
Yes.
he goes back home, and to me, this is I'm not a dog person, but to me, this is equal bad as cheating. That dog's been wondering where he is all fucking night, probably
I
pissed
had
and
the
shit all over the
same
house.
thought. I was like, that is unforgivable. Like, cheating on your wife is bad, but like leaving that poor animal inside all day without coming home to let him out is absolutely unforgivable. Like, this wasn't, oh no, I got stuck in an elevator, like for real, and I was trapped there, and the fireman had to get me out, and that's the reason my dog was stuck inside all day. No, 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 no. You just chose to suck nipple instead of helping your poor doggy go poop outside.
Do you think in his mind is like, "This is gonna be a one-time thing, the dog will forgive me, the viewers will forgive me because I am gonna do a horror movie lady move, and I'm gonna show a little cheek in the shower." He's having a nice little shower, the
He
curtain
does
peeks, we
have a
see a little
nice little
Douglas
shower.
cheek, and doesn't the camera move up, like, from bottom to top, so, like, it
Yeah, and
moves
it's like
up his
zooming
butt?
in at the same time so that you can really get that
Way
look.
to go, Adrian Lyne,
He
for
knows what the
not, like,
people want.
yeah, Michael Douglas, like, I don't know. I mean, were you attracted to him? Like, do you think he's like a sexy dude, or do you think it's a level of like 80s sexy?
It's 80s sexy for sure. It's not I but at the same time you kind of like you like him. He seems like a likable person and I think that works in his favor. Except for the part where he left the dog. I did not like him for that. And you know what the John Waters quote about like if you go home with a guy and he doesn't have books on his shelves, don't
Mm,
fuck him. Yeah,
yeah.
if you go home with a guy or you take a guy home with you and he's like, "Oh, I haven't walked my dog," and that doesn't seem to be a problem with him, don't fuck him.
Well, to be fair, Glenn Close is insane in this movie, and that
Well,
did
yes.
not matter to her.
No, that's
Animal
true.
well-being is not a
Very
priority for Glenn
low,
Close in this film.
very low on her list.
Like, and if she knew where Michael Douglas, like, goes down the line, like, she would probably be even more into I mean, do you remember what was this? Like, in the it was sometime in the 2000s, Michael Douglas got throat cancer,
Oh, yeah.
and it publicly came out that I don't know the science behind this, but he said he got throat cancer from going down on his wife too much.
Yes, I mean, you can get, shoot, what's the virus that causes it? I even I was vaccinated against that. But yes, it
High
does, like,
five.
it thank you. But yeah, there is a virus that can cause cancer. In women, it's like cervical cancer, and in men, if or women, if you're going down, you can get it that way. That is a real thing,
What good PR. Like, that is
right?
such, like it makes him seem
Such a
a
fucking catch.
he's yeah, a great catch. Like, he's such a good lover. Like, he's
Hmm.
attentive.
He's putting his
It
body
seems
on the
like he's
line
gonna
for
do
you,
it every time.
and he must be good at it because she keeps asking for more.
We assume.
I mean, that what you think she's just like, "Oh, he really wants to, so I guess I'll let him, even though it's no fun for me." It seems unlikely.
We see Douglas's cheeks. She calls at the house. Alec I guess we should probably say their names. Not Winter, Alex Forrest.
Yes, and he
What's
he
his name?
is
Dan?
Dan. He's Dan. His wife is Beth,
So,
and yeah,
if you're gonna cheat, like, maybe this podcast too will teach people the do's and don'ts of sneaking
mhm,
around.
so important.
nothing bad happens in this scene, but it was so risky. Like, yeah, go to the Latin nightclub in the Meat and Fire district. That's fine.
Your
Who's gonna
wife's
run into
not
you there?
going to the Meat and Fire district. Her friends aren't going to the Meat and Fire district.
But to go have a frolic in Central Park?
Yes. Yeah, that seemed a little risky. Also, you cannot ignore though the fact that when she's calling him and telling him to hang out and she's like, "I'll make you lunch." And he's like, "No, no, no." And she's like, "Come on." He's like, "I got to walk the dog." And she's like, "I love animals. I'm a great cook."
Ooh, I didn't even catch that.
Oh my god. Oh my god, the foreshadowing, which is why I started a wild ass foreshadowing checklist because there are so much in this movie when you go back and realize all the things that are like predicted ahead of time. But yeah, that's right after he got off the phone with his wife, where his wife is talking about how their kid wants a bunny. Next phone call, she's saying, "I love animals. I'm a great cook."
Yeah, but take a shot every time there's a foreshadow in this movie.
You
It'll
absolutely
get you.
can. It'll absolutely get you. There's starting with like the boss having the neck brace from fucking. Like, ooh, it's foreshadowing that fucking can go super duper wrong. And then you've got the that he doesn't want that look directed at him, which is exactly the evil fucking look she gets when she goes all psycho. Uh love animals, great cook. There's lots of scenes and shots of like boiling pots steaming in the bathroom. They're really like pushing that image. Um oh man, there was the part where Jimmy says when he first sees Glenn Close, "She was undressing me with her eyes. I think she had trouble with the buttons." And Glenn Close rips his shirt when she's trying to get him not to leave her. Like,
Yeah.
and rips the buttons. Like this movie is so good. Like we are in good hands in terms of the writing here. Like somebody really
Academy
wanted this
Award
all set
nominated
up.
writing.
I can see why. The references to Madame Butterfly, of course. Like super super obvious.
Which brings us to the next scene. They go listen to Madame Butterfly. They talk about Madame Butterfly. They bang one last time. And this is truly the end of sexy in this movie.
Yeah, no more.
Everything takes a turning point at this scene. He tells her like, "I'm leaving." She's mad and her boobs are out, and I like a naked argument in a movie.
I do too. It feels very realistic. I myself have had naked or half naked arguments before, so it feels very realistic to me.
He's like, we just can't do this. She's like, I would respect you more if you told me to fuck off. And he tells her to fuck off. So she leaves. He starts to leave. She's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Comes back to kiss his face to say goodbye. Blood all over the place. Her wrists are slit. And now he's got to deal with this problem.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, first of all, seeing her standing there in the white shirt dress thing with her arms behind her back saying like, "Let's be friends." It was absolute horror movie shot right there. I was like, "Ah, no. Whatever she has behind her back, I don't want it." Turns out I did not. I did not want it. But yeah, so he stays the night because he feels bad that she's cut herself. I don't know why he decided to just like bandage her up and then be like, yeah, in the morning, he's like, don't forget to go to the doctor. Just take her to the doctor that night. And then she is the hospital's problem and not your problem.
I do have an issue with Michael Douglas in this. I mean, you noticed his wife and his mistress both get nominated for Oscars for this movie. He does not. This guy almost seems void of emotions throughout this movie. Like he is so unfazed by the crazy shit that's happening
Yeah.
until it really hits a boiling point where like
A
on day
boiling point,
uh,
Garrett?
on day one of this, like the second it was over, I'd be like, "Oh man, I hope she doesn't call my house." Like I'd be like so fucking obviously suspicious of
Mhm.
something. Where
Mhm.
this guy is
Mhm.
just like so cool, where it's like, "Oh, she's dropping by my office all the time now. She's stopping at my house." He did seem a little concerned about the slit wrists. Um, but like
But
even
not
when he's
on the level that I feel like you or I would be concerned, and not on the level of like this is an obvious red flag that, like, this woman is unstable, this is not okay, like, we've known each other for 2 days at this point, and that's her response to me walking out the door. Like, "Oh, no. Th whoa, I can't form words. This is not okay."
So basically, the next what feels like half hour of the movie is just her calling his office too much,
Yep.
her trying to call the house and hang up. Like him and his friends. I love his friends, by the way. That
I
couple,
did
like
too. I thought they had a perfect, like, 2 couples relationship. They go bowling, they're razzing each other at the dinner table. They seem like they're a lot of fun together.
I love the montage because one thing we don't get enough of is what Alex is up to. Like when she's not with Michael Douglas, we mostly only see
Oh,
her
we
with
know what
him.
she is up to. She is sitting on the floor, turning a lamp on and off and staring into the void. That's what she's doing. Just anytime
And
you
the
don't see
problem
her
is
on
like
screen, assume that's what she's doing.
well, like, did you see the movie, A Ghost Story, where there's, like, that 7-minute scene of eating an apple pie, and there's nothing else
No?
happening?
What?
I want
No?
that. I need 7 minutes of void to, like, really sink into me. When she's not being fucking crazy at him, she's void staring and
Mhm.
just flicking that light on and off. That's it.
Mm.
Like, no hobbies, like, maybe likes opera a little bit, but
Yeah,
god,
she
man,
does
it was
listen
just
to the opera after he turns down her offer to go see Madame Butterfly together. She is listening to the opera and staring into the void. 'Cause that's what you
like
do.
and while all that's happening, Michael Douglas's wife is looking at a new house.
Right,
And
because if you're I get it. You're filled with guilt. Why buy your wife a dozen roses when you can buy her a house? Mm?
and he doesn't seem like he wants to go, but honestly, if I had cheated, the first thing I'd want to do is like, we have to get the fuck out of this town. I can never possibly run into this human again.
But she
Yes,
works
let's
at the,
move to
like,
the country.
there's, like, a plausible reason you might run into her at work again, like, she works for one of your clients, like, there's no escape. You fucked up, you
Yes, there
shouldn't
is.
have fucked so close to home.
I'm a farmer in the country now. I have given
Oh.
up my lawyer man career. And you know what? When I'm
Now we
sitting
raise
around,
rabbits.
my daughter's happy. Everyone's going to be suspicious why I was so quick to change my whole life.
Tell him you did ayahuasca and you had, like, a whole, you saw the face of God, and he told you that this wasn't where you were meant to be in this life, and now you wanna be a rabbit farmer, upstate.
So Glenn Close keeps calling this motherfucker's house. She's like, you, it's like 2 in the morning. He's pretending he's talking to a work friend, which very suspicious. But she's
Yeah.
like, you gotta meet me. They go meet at a Subway, and she drops the fucking bombshell on him that she is pregnant.
Yep. And I was never 100% sure if she was actually pregnant or not. Because, like, he says, like, she gives him the number of the doctor and she's like, call him and prove it. But, like, still, I don't know. She's like set up as being kind of a liar, right? Like, although also not, because there was the weird part when they were in Central Park together when he
Mhm.
like lays down and pretends he's dead on the grass, and she's like, how dare you, my father died of a heart attack when I was young and I'm super traumatized by it. And he's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I would never have done that if I had known. And she was like, just kidding, he's alive and living in Phoenix, ha 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 ha. But then you find out that her dad actually did die. And she was lying the second time when she said he was alive. And that absolutely baffled me.
And he died of the first thing she said.
Yeah, the heart attack, like around, like at the age she said he did. So, like, I don't know why she would do that. Then again, I don't know why she would do most of the things she does in this movie, but that one in particular stood out as an odd one.
Well, she is just. a crazy person.
Yeah.
And looking it up, I found like the exact mental illness she was supposed to have in this movie. And I saw
Oh,
that Glenn Close said she felt uncomfortable because this movie portrayed the mentally ill in a bad light. Um,
I mean,
you and I are both
fair, I
mentally ill,
guess.
but
Yeah.
like she couldn't handle her shit. But I don't know.
No.
Have you ever met someone that made you feel this way? Have you ever like been the crazy person a little bit?
I have not been the crazy person. I have been in close proximity to the crazy person before. When I was in college, there was a girl who her boyfriend was like going home to Oklahoma, and she was convinced, like, even though it was just for like a weekend visit, she was convinced he was going to sleep with his ex-girlfriend while he was there, and she freaked the fuck out, and she told everyone. Okay, but and part of her freak out was that she watched the movie Titanic 3 times in a row. That is so long. That is so much movie. I
It's
I
a good
can't.
movie.
I know, but it's also like 3 hours long. That's insane. That's like watching the whole Lord of the Rings trilogy, but it's just Titanic. Anyway, she claimed she was pregnant, in I guess an attempt to like get him to come home and not sleep with his ex-girlfriend. And we were all like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry." I watched Titanic with her one of those times. I know. And then
Good
like
movie.
later she was like, "Oh yeah, I had a miscarriage." And we were all like, "You what?" And so we were never 100% sure if she actually was pregnant or if it was just a thing to try to keep her boyfriend from leaving
From
her.
fucking in Oklahoma.
Yeah, and then there was also the time when I was dating a guy, and he apparently had not told his ex-girlfriend that she was an ex-girlfriend now. Like, she still thought that they had a chance together or something, and she figured out that I was at his house. And of course, her assumption is that, like, she's fucking him. And I was actually a virgin at the time. So I was not fucking him. We were, in fact, watching the Blues Brothers. Um,
You're like, we were
and
watching Titanic 3 times in a row.
yeah, we were watching Titanic 3 times in a row like you do. And no, she ended up like drunkenly walking um like down like it was at SIU. It was like down the like from Thompson Point all the way down to about where my house was, Garrett, if you remember. It was a long
Yeah.
ass walk in the dark, drunk, and he's like on the phone with her trying to tell her like, no, what are you doing, don't come here, because she's like calling and crying. And next thing you know, I hear this like blood curdling scream from right outside the window because she has
Hell
seen
yeah.
my car in the driveway, and she starts like hitting my car, and I bolted. Like all my instincts kicked in, and I ran for like, what room do I know has a lock? Bathroom. That's exactly where I went. I locked myself in. I'm like holding like whatever I can find, like my it was my shoe, my heeled shoe. I was like holding it out like a weapon, and as I hear her screaming, there is crashing and banging through the living room. And next thing you know, like there's a door slamming, and then she's screaming, like, Kit, come out. I just want to talk. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
I
Mm-mm.
gotta ask this. So for the listeners that don't know, Kit is a small person.
Five
You
foot, yeah, on the dot.
you were a very fun size
Yeah.
human.
Yeah.
Um, was she like big? Like obviously, like it
She was a
wouldn't take
tall
that much.
girl.
It
She
was
was a
not that.
tall
It wouldn't
girl.
take that much taller of a person to just
No.
completely manhandle you.
No, but when we had to do our self-defense class in high school PE, I was fucking nailed it. Turns out that when I am under threat, I turn into a fucking feral cat. Like I go batshit on somebody. So I had some belief that I would be mostly okay. But anyway, so she's screaming like, you're in there, how does she taste? She's asking him, like, how does she taste? You like licking her cunt? And I was like, oh my God, oh my
Oh,
God, oh my God. Because again, virgin, not don't know what to make of any
you're a
of
virgin and
this.
she's out there screaming Rob Zombie dialogue at you.
Exactly, exactly. And then she goes back, she's like switching back and forth this whole time between like, I want to kill you and just come out, I want to talk. And I'm like, I'm not falling for any of that shit. Next thing you know, I hear a little more scuffling, and then she is out. I hear police sirens. And then there's like a few minutes later, there's like a knock at the bathroom door, and it's the guy being like, Kit, the police are here. You can come out now. Because apparently what happened was she crawled out the bedroom window after like ripping the curtain rod down and wielding it as a weapon to like get him to back off because he was standing between like her and the door where so that she wouldn't be able to get out and get to me. So she like wielded it as a weapon and then crawled out the window. And then, of course, when the cops show up and they see this woman like crawling out of a bedroom window as if to escape from something, like they're thinking, that this is like a domestic violence thing. And so, like, they talk to her and talk to him, and then a cop comes in and talks to me, and I'm just like standing there. And now that the door is open for the first time, I can see that the living room is an absolute wreck. She has like flipped over tables. Apparently, he like grabbed her around the legs and she like hit the floor and army crawled through the living room trying to get to the bedroom where, of course, she assumed I was, which is why she went for the bedroom in the first place. And I was safe in the bathroom. So yeah, I got to talk to the cops and tell them what happened, and they gave her a ride home, and because declined to press charges. And as we're like collapsed into bed, we're not even thinking about fooling around or anything. We are so fucking exhausted. His goddamn phone rings. Why did you call the police on me?
So at the end of every episode, I ask the question,
Mm-hmm.
is this person worth ruining your life for? In the
Mm-hmm.
last two stories you've just told, you know both of these humans
Yes. Mm-hmm.
are either worth ruining your life for.
100% no. Not
No to
even
both?
close. No to both. No to
That's
both.
fucking crazy.
Look, the first one was from Mundelein, so like, who trusts anyone from Mundelein? And the second one, she was very normal looking. She was not worth having that
Was she
whole.
extraordinarily tall?
No, she was regular lady tall. I mean,
Okay.
everyone's
Well,
tall to me, Garrett. But anyway, yeah, those are my associations of being close to madness. Since you asked. Not exactly on the level of, boiling the rabbit, thank God.
it
But
did, yeah, because the cops showed up.
yep, yep. Yeah, they did.
Where did we leave off with this movie? The pregnant thing in the subway.
Yes. And then he breaks into her apartment and uh d- like that's when he finds out that she didn't lie about her dad being dead but she did lie about him being alive. And then he fucking comes home and she is talking to his wife pretending she wants to buy the apartment. And that was another like horror movie moment for me of like, oh no.
This woman is unhinged. I don't know what she's capable of. She's in my house. But then she becomes like a scary horror person. She's basically like he buys the rabbit for his kid. He goes to the parking garage and Glenn Close is running around like the goddamn phantom of the parking garage, like
Yes.
disappearing into the rafters
Yes.
and shit. She ruins his car.
It looked like she dumped fucking acid on it or
Yeah,
something. I have no idea. But by the way, that's another wild foreshadowing. Is that in the very opening shot of the movie, his kid is watching like someone getting slimed on TV
that's true.
multiple
He's double
times.
there.
That it was lots of slime, and I was like, oh my god. So we're even foreshadowing the car acid. But I think it I yeah, and so then there's also the tape that she has the tape that he listens to like the entire drive upstate. He is listening to this tape. It must be at least like 8 hours long.
Yeah, I had to point out, like, this is the first podcast in recorded history, was just Glenn Close rambling into a tape recorder. And for me, so I don't know about you, for me, this movie, I streamed it on Paramount Plus. And
Same.
and I watch movies with subtitles on.
Mhm.
And the last line he hears in this tape is, "You flaming fucking F slur."
Yeah. Yeah.
And for
Because she's like, "I
me,
bet you don't even like women," which is an odd thing to say to a man who fucked you and also his wife, but you know.
but either way, she says that line, and because it's the last line and they're so long till the next dialogue,
You
that
were just
line didn't go
staring at
away
it.
off my TV for about 50 seconds. And there's just like a sweet shot of him and his family by a fire laughing and having fun, but written at the bottom of the screen is "you flaming fucking F slur."
Oh,
And
no.
that honestly, that whole 50-second segment might have been my favorite part of the whole movie.
Oh,
So he
no.
goes home, he's like, "You know what? That
Yeah.
podcast was pretty good. I should listen to that again." And he's listening
Yeah.
to the I Hate Dan podcast.
Oh, my favorite podcast, I Hate Dan, you fucking F slur.
He's like, "Well, you know, it's well produced. It's about a
Mm.
topic I understand, which is
Another
me."
yes, oh, my favorite topic.
And the biggest boost, like bolt of emotion he shows in the majority of this movie is him sitting there listening to the Fuck Dan podcast, and his wife comes up behind him and touches him, and he fucking jumps out of
Lit.
his seat, and he's like,
Yeah. A
I'm listening to
deposition.
law. It's
They're
laws.
listening to the
It's
law.
I'm listening to Herman Munster talk about laws, who is his boss, who only has one scene.
Yeah.
Um, Other side character I want to point out,
Yeah.
Jane Kakowski. She, from 30 Rock?
No, I've never actually
Okay.
watched 30 Rock.
Well, Jane Kakowski from 30 Rock, or Krakowski, I'm sorry. She plays a character named Jenna, and on 30 Rock, she plays their babysitter at the beginning of this
No
movie.
kidding.
And she's babysitting their daughter, Ellen. Weird connection between the two of them. Jane Krakowski in the first National Lampoon's Vacation plays Cousin Eddie's daughter. In Christmas Vacation, the little girl that plays Ellen also plays his daughter, the same character's daughter, in the
Wait,
same
what?
franchise in the 2 movies later. Yeah.
That is wild.
I don't know.
That's
I liked that. That was also Jane Krakowski. Fun thing for anybody who didn't know, she was dating the My Pillow guy when all that shit went down.
no.
Which is for
Mm.
30 Rock fans, that's the most Jenna shit ever, is dating the My Pillow guy. All right, back to the movie.
Oh, yeah, because
We're
now it's time for the rabbit. It's time for that poor rabbit.
she could have boiled the thing alive. She didn't. It appeared she slit its throat first. Like, it wasn't super barbaric.
I don't know, man. It seemed pretty fucking barbaric to me, man.
We're really getting into, like, the home stretch of this movie
Yeah.
where she's
And
just
for
like,
some reason,
"Kill."
after someone's broken into your house and boiled your daughter's rabbit, you feel like it's time to come clean to your wife. Now it's time to come clean to your
He
wife.
really fucking waits. Like,
Yeah.
he decides that this is the point. This is where,
Okay,
like,
wait, at
I
which
gotta
point would
say
you
something.
have said something? Because I'm curious.
Um Phantom of the parking garage is really hard to just, like, hide that your car got fucking killed by a Batman villain. I don't know, like, who
Mm.
who kills things with acid?
Batman villains, you're correct. See, I feel like I would have told back when she was in the apartment. Like once she's met your wife, it is all bets need to be off. Like she has clearly gone too far. Now that my wife has like met her, we need to talk about this. That's where I would have said something.
I love that he says to his wife, "The last thing I ever wanted to do was hurt you.
Mm,
That was the last thing I wanted to do. The first thing I wanted to do was come, and I
mhm,
did that, but
and
I
I did that.
accidentally hurt you."
Ooh, darn it, I hate it when that happens. I mean, this is, like, the ultimate, like, here's why you shouldn't cheat on your family, like, movie, right? Like, that's the thesis of the movie. Don't do it.
I bet this movie, dissuaded, like, a few dudes where they're like, "This
Oh,
is the
sure.
cautionary tale that
Mm.
scared me straight."
Mhm, mhm. I mean, the that was the other funny thing that John mentioned while we were watching it together is, like, he hates watching these in many ways because he can't stand watching people make bad decisions that then compound on each other, and it makes him really anxious, and I was like, "That's so nice to know that, like, you'll never cheat on me, not because I'm so wonderful and not because you're so loyal, but because it would just be too nerve-wracking for you to keep a secret."
Yeah, I'm really b I yeah. I mean, he does
Yeah,
eventually
you're the
tell his
same.
friends, he tells his police or tells the local
Yeah.
police who can't do anything. She fucking kidnaps his kid and takes her on a roller
Yeah,
coaster.
that was the other
Um,
weird '80s things I pointed out because, like, in no way in a modern kindergarten would they let that child go home with someone who is not an approved, like, parent or guardian. It simply would not happen. Like,
Once again, thank you,
uh-uh.
Bin Laden.
Thank you, Bin Laden. You now our kindergartens are more, have more red tape to get through. But yeah, and so the wife is freaking out because the kid is missing and she gets into a car accident. Meanwhile, Glenn Close is taking this kid on a roller coaster, and I had the thought, like, is that kid old enough to be on a roller coaster? Also, should
It's
a
a height
pregnant
situation.
woman be on a roller coaster? I'm pretty sure pregnant women aren't supposed to ride roller coasters. So, like, this is bad for both of you. That child's not tall enough, and you are with child.
Well, as we get into the final scene, like, you bringing that up is interesting because, like, basically, there's this whole big blowout. Glenn Close breaks into the house, is holding his wife at knife point. But during this whole thing, like, where Glenn Close and Michael Douglas are getting in a fight, she ended up getting a concussion. Glenn Close did
Oh,
in real life, getting her head slammed into a mirror. And it turns out while she was doing all this crazy shit at the end, she was pregnant in real life.
oh my god. Well, good thing that didn't turn out bad. Shit.
She says she still feels guilty about doing, like, all this physically intense stuff while she had a baby inside her, but she
Eh,
didn't know,
kid's
it's not
fine.
her fault.
My mom played badminton while she was pregnant with my brother. So, like, and well, actually, no, he didn't turn out that fine. But you know what? Fine enough by
Well, it's
him.
badminton. You
Fine
say
enough.
that like you're like, "My mom was playing tackle football while she."
Oh, no, it wasn't badminton. My bad. It was racquetball. It's way worse. That's a way harder ball.
I was like, you just, like, picked the softest shit. You're like, "My
Yeah,
mom
no.
did leisurely exercise while she."
No, it was
Well,
racquetball. But yeah, but before she comes into his house, he goes to her house to try to kill her and, like, chokes her out and stuff. And then he's like, "No, I can't choke her out." And then she's like, "Imma come at you with a knife." And then he gets the knife away from her. And then it's I was definitely like, "You should not have done this. You should have gone to the police as soon as you found out this woman kidnapped your child." Right? Like, going to her house is just you're just putting evidence all over there. Like, you're
you're
not doing
spreading
yourself any
DNA
favor.
all over the
DNA
place.
all over the place. It's 87. DNA is a thing. There's definitely fingerprints, right? So, like, on the knife, not good.
But then she shows up at his house, threatens his wife, and I think this is pretty badass. This is one of the craziest things she does. So as she's, like, going the last 15 minutes of this movie is where Glenn Close gets nominated for this Oscar.
Oh,
Like,
100%.
she is going wild, and honestly, as wild as she's going, it makes me even more angry that Toni Collette didn't get a Hereditary nomination
That's a
because it
really good
fucking
point.
deserved. This is a horror movie. Um,
Oh,
but
for
as she's,
sure.
like, going crazy at Michael Douglas' wife, he is or she's, like, just picking at her own leg with a knife.
Oh, yeah, it's
Just
so good. It starts with her just, like, picking at the fabric, and then as she gets, like, more agitated, it starts to, like, scratch at her leg. It's so creepy. It's very horror movie. And by the way, like, they've set up this whole time that, like, Michael Douglas is walking around and, like, checking that all the doors are locked, but, like, it's too late. She's already in the house. And you know who could have helped with this if you hadn't made him be a part of this? The dog. Dog don't care
well,
she's in the house. Dog's not warning you. He thinks you're friends.
she got added to the friends and family network in his mind, and, he's met,
Fave
they
5
frolic
right
in the park.
there.
You frolic in a park, you
Mhm.
get taken off the growl list.
Exactly. Exactly. No more warnings. But yeah, and then so like yes, there's the fight in the bathroom, which is absolutely wild. And then like in order to kill her, he has to like shove her under the water in the bathtub, and it's a really cool and creepy shot of her face just under the bloody water. It's very cool. And then like they're like, "Oh, it's fine." No, horror movie. The monster ain't dead. She's back up. Wife shoots her.
I was wondering though, while Michael Douglas was holding Glenn Close underwater by the throat, and you kind of see like in his eyes, like his whole life flashing before his eyes and
Mhm.
memories and everything. And I was just wondering, like, when he first went to her house to have sex, if like
Mhm.
if he had had that Jiminy Cricket Steve Buscemi character that popped up and's like, listen, chum, if you go in there and bang this lady, you're gonna have to murder her in a bathtub. If he would have been like, Hmm.
Mm.
I probably won't. It probably won't be that bad. And I really like coming because coming feels good.
No, I think if the, Jiminy Cricket slash Steve Buscemi had been there to jump off the back of a garbage truck and tell him that, like, what was it? Like, "It ain't that good. Nothing's as good as they say it is," uh, then I feel like he would've just gone home and, just masturbated instead and then
Just,
took the dog for a walk and been done with it.
just go home and crank one out and eat your
Just
wife's
crank it up
spaghetti.
and eat your wife's spaghetti.
There was spaghetti earlier. Sorry, folks. Either way, Michael Douglas, he shakes hands with the cops. He goes back inside. We see a nice photo of his family. And honest to God, I assume that night he slept on the couch. What do you think happened after this? Do you
100%.
think she's like, you get to fucking sleep on the couch, you asshole?
100%. I mean, like, first of all, she has the right to be pissed at him already. He impregnated a woman and, like, then she came
Maybe,
and
allegedly.
allegedly impregnated a woman who then, like, came and attacked their family multiple different ways and, like, put her through all of this. Like, I don't know if I would ever stop like, I know that, like, the tension of the moment, we killed someone together, that brings people together, right? No, I'm so over his ass after this point. Not happening.
But they do share a hug that says, like, I don't know, maybe it's, like, more of a shared trauma hug
I think
than
it
it
is.
is, like, I definitely still love you and fully forgive you for everything that's happened in my life in the last
Look,
2
they're all
weeks.
gonna need family therapy. They're gonna need individual therapy. They're gonna need couples therapy. And they're gonna need family therapy for that traumatized child. So, like, they can work it out then.
It
But I don't know
sucks,
if the
though, because
marriage
this
is
is definitely
salvageable.
gonna hurt the friendship with their fun couple friends, because
Um,
the dude knew, and, like, he's supposed to be bros, but, like, when he hears the whole story, he's just gonna like, "God damn, man, like,
you
this is
fucked
pretty
up.
unforgivable."
Yeah, you fucked up real bad.
I think it's time. I
Okay.
think it's time. We've watched one of the biggest,
Yep.
like, the biggest movie
The
of
biggest.
1987, the year of my birth. This was the number 1 movie in the world. This movie really set off a chain reaction of Michael Douglas's horniness getting him in trouble,
Yep.
and other actors willing to show butts and boobs and put themselves in similar situations throughout the 90s.
Yep.
1, were
Mhm.
you aroused? Scale of 1 to 5.
I gave it a 1.
A
Look,
1? So yeah.
okay, look, there's just all the eroticism is packed in the very beginning, and then there's nothing erotic that happens for the rest of the movie, and so
Who
it
is
just
supposed to
didn't.
fuck when there's battery acid getting
I
dumped from the sky?
Okay,
Like,
good point, I guess, but at the same time, maybe it's not a 1, maybe it's a 1.5 because them fucking on the sink, was pretty titillating, and the water, yes, I
flashing on
could
the
see
boobies,
you
yeah.
doing the fucking motion of splashing water on your nipples, Garrett. Yeah, that was pretty cute. Alright, that's hot. So, I give it a 1.5 for arousal. What do you give it?
So I am with you. I think initially when I watched it, I was so off put by Michael Douglas and Glenn Close that I was just like personally not sexually attracted to either of them. Once again, subjective.
Oh, completely.
But it's also I told you because of how I view Glenn Close from
Mm.
childhood
Garrett
that
would not fuck the vice president, no matter
it's
who it
just
is.
I can't. I can't. There's the like, and it isn't like they're more powerful than me. It's just I don't know. Maybe it's a respect thing. Maybe it's because
Okay, so but would you fuck Harrison Ford?
is it part of my patriotic duty?
Let's go with yes.
Does it like what situation are we fucking our way out of?
Look, I'm just saying, would like you can't say
That
that the
grumpy
vice
old bastard?
president.
No.
Okay. What about Jed Bartlett in The West Wing?
I didn't watch that show.
Never
If I was
mind.
gonna fuck an Estevez or Sheen, I don't know if it would be him.
That's fair, actually.
And it
Yeah,
wouldn't be
okay.
Charlie at this point because of AIDS. So it would definitely be Emilio.
Oh, Emilio was always the hot one. Let's be honest with ourselves. Okay, so thrills. How you ranking it on thrills, Garrett?
Well, I guess like to give it an actual number, I'll probably give it 2.5 on the erotic.
Okay.
Um because I agree. Like the two sex scenes are like pretty fucking hot. Like
Yeah.
that elevator BJ, that
That's
is
true. Yeah,
that's
okay.
a good BJ. Like you
It's
can
a
see on
yeah.
their faces that shit rocked both of their worlds.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Um
true.
but as far as thrills, I mean the entire second half, I do think it slows down quite a bit while she's just being lightly crazy as it
You mean
builds.
when she's staring into the void? Yeah.
I
That
need more
part's a little
void.
more. You
Give me
want more void?
I need more void. No, but I think as far as thrills, I mean, boiling a rabbit is huge.
I mean,
People's
and
lives
towards
are
the
in physical danger.
yes, and towards the end, it is so like escalation of the crazy is so high. It's so much that definitely I put it at a 5 out of 5 on thrills. I was thrilled.
I think you were right there. I mean, if it's not a 5, I'm probably like 4.5.
Yeah,
I mean, this movie's an all-timer for a reason. Like it is
absolutely.
well written, it is exciting. Both actors offer me a little bit of their bodies,
Yep.
which I appreciate deeply. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, this all started with me ranking them, and these are actually the first 2 I watched, so I did rank Zandali higher, but I think it's as a love of Cage and my horniness towards Zandali. This is a
Mm.
better movie, though. Like, this is a
This is
good like, a
absolutely a
good
better
movie.
legitimate better movie. Um, depending on your tolerance for anxiety-inducing situations, it may be a more difficult watch than Zandali because it gets real intense there. As for, would ruin your life for these people,
No chance.
0 out
Uh
of
uh
5 would not
uh,
ruin my life.
yeah, I am not, like, into her, and he is just, like, an emotionally void suit.
Are we
Like,
talking about
he
his wife? Are we talking about Beth? 4.5 out of 5 would ruin my life for his wife.
fuck me up. Like I am like
Mhm.
gonna be sliding in at the end of that marriage, like, hey, let's go out and talk about what happened. Like, that's so
You
fucked up what he
see
did
oh
to
my
you.
god, I
Like,
can't believe that.
you and your kid, like, you deserve so much better.
So
What
much
am I
better,
doing
and
tonight? I'm around. Do you wanna watch
oh,
Titanic 3 or
yeah.
4 times?
3 or 4 times, I was many times as you need.
So yes, his wife, 100%. Kid and I are there to comfort her in her time of need.
Oh,
Glenn Close and
100%.
Michael Douglas fucking deserve each other in this
Oh
movie.
my god. Yeah, it's really hard to know who to root for at the end. It's not that hard. I mean, like Michael Douglas has not boiled any rabbits, so you're definitely rooting for him to win. Although apparently the original ending was that Glenn Close like killed herself and set him up so that he would get arrested. And that would make it more in line with the Madame Butterfly, like, theming
Mhm.
of the woman killing herself because the man abandons her, but, like, God, I don't think I would have been able to handle that. Like, that would just be if the anxiety was high already, that is too high. That is too
What?
much for me.
And it's gonna add, like, another 10 minutes of, like, courtroom scenes and police stations. Get the movie over with. Just, like, we're
Even if it's
here, just
just him being arrested and let out the door, though, like, that's not the message I wanna that's not, like, the feeling I wanna end on.
I like the classic horror movie ending.
Mm.
The like you said, the monster comes back, she goes back down, everything's happily-ish ever after.
Plus, then you get the different, foreshadowing of when she's like, "If you ever come near my family again, I'll kill you," and then guess who gets to kill Glenn Close? It's Beth.
It is funny, though, that the original ending only aired in Japan, and that was a
Hmm.
thank you that was actually, like, their apology for the beginning.
Yeah, yeah. We're really sorry about the stuff we said about sushi and bowing. Here, you guys get the real version.
In Japan, I bet if you looked up a review, they would be like, "That was excessive bowing." All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in again this week. We will be back next week with another erotic thriller.
Beth,
If
if
you
you're
want to,
listening, call us. We are available to talk anytime.
Ann
You've been through a
Archer,
lot.
where you at, babe?
Beth,
We are.
my girl.
You want to come on a show and talk about? You didn't even get to see any butts or anything in this movie. That's a shame. But if you have any questions for us, hit us up at our email address, eroticthrillerclub@gmail.com, or hit us up on Instagram at Erotic Thriller Club. I am at Gartet.
I am at and Caboodle.
And remember, thank you. We love you. We want to shake you naked and eat you alive.
Is that really what we're going with?
I'm going with it. You got something better?
No. No, I got nothing.